Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Eman here from Eman's World of Geek and the C-List of Villains, and today we're talking my top 5 new comic book day picks for this upcoming new comic book day, July 13th, 2022. Now, I know typically I talk to you guys about my top 3 new comic book day picks, but this week I wanted to change it up just a little bit and talk to you guys about my top 5 picks for this upcoming new comic book day here on July 13, 2022. There's been some great reads that have come across my desk over the last few months or so this is a good way for me to catch up and let you guys know what has interested me and what I'm looking forward to reading over the next few months. Now let's get started. Now, you guys know I'm more of an indie guy, but you know what? When I pick up a Marvel or a DC book, it definitely intrigued me. So when I read Kieran Gillen and Esad Ribić's run of the Eternals, I found it fascinating. I absolutely loved that run. The first half was kind of like building towards, I was trying to get to know who the characters were. The movie helped-ish, but I also read the Neil Gaiman run from a few years back. My son let me borrow that trade, and I thought that book was really good. So when the second half came around, you're starting to figure out what's happening. Things are starting to unravel. Thanos was involved. There's this big thing that's been going on. It's a murder mystery, but you're finding out there's a lot of deceitfulness and people lying to each other and whatnot. I really enjoyed the run. Towards the end, you start seeing them kind of get into the other realms from within the Marvel Universe, namely the Avengers and the X-Men. So with the Eternals ending with issue 12, I knew that there was going to be more to come in the form of AXE, Avengers X-Men Eternals Judgment Day. And this book is the first book in this crossover event headed by Kieran Gillen. AXE, Avengers X-Men Eternals Eve of Judgment #1, written by Kieran Gillen and art from Pasquale Ferry, is the next event that's happening. I'm actually really interested in this one, you guys. Now, I haven't read X-Men and I haven't really been keeping up with the Avengers, but I was keeping up with the Eternals and I really like where this is going. What is going to happen? I'm not too sure, but let me go ahead and read the synopsis of this issue right here. First shot fired. Judgment is coming. The Eternals know that the mutants have conquered death, but what are they going to do about it? The oldest immortals on Earth eye up the newest, and the doomsday clock starts to tick towards Judgment Day. I guess the Eternals don't like the idea that the X-Men have figured out how to live a little bit longer, is what I'm getting out of this synopsis right here. I haven't read the X-Men. However, I'm hearing that it's definitely evolved into something like a completely new beast that I'm not familiar with. So this is a good way to kind of bring all of the major teams in Marvel together to do this major crossover event. And let's see what happens with this one. On to my next pick. This has been a consistently fun read to me. I've enjoyed this book since it first came out. I thought the writing is witty, it's really fun. I like the idea. It's about a detective that goes into people's dreams and helps them get rid of certain dreams. However, with doing so, that person ends up forgetting. They'll lose the memories of the persons within the dreams that they're having. So essentially, it's very possible for one to completely forget family members in this world. However, if it helps this person sleep, this is what this detective does. Stetson is her name, and she has bigger motivations behind her just helping people out, letting them sleep, giving them a peace of mind. It seems like she's after someone who knows more about her family life, and she's trying to get to the bottom of it. I believe her daughter is missing, and there's one dream, one ghost, one entity that knows exactly what's happening. And in this cat and mouse game that's been happening between the ghost and Stetson has been really fun to me. Stetson has a couple of people who know what she can do, so when they get involved or when something happens to them, the story just completely changes. So Slumber number 5, written by Tyler Burton Smith, art from Vanessa Cardinale. Let me go ahead and read a little bit about this one right here. Stetson enters Ed's dreams and navigates through an Edwardian dream hotel populated by dozens of creepy Ed lookalikes in a desperate attempt to rescue his dreamscape from Valkyria, which is the entity who knows about Stetson's daughter. Valkyria's dark intentions are finally unveiled. So now we're going to know what's going to go on. We've already been introduced to the big baddie in this one, in issue 3, I believe. Ed is one of Stetson's assistants, one of the people who helps her enter the dream world, but now he's been affected by Valkyria. Valkyria went ahead and entered his mind, and now she's taking over. This book has been, like I said, it's been nothing but fun to me, and I've truly enjoyed Slumber. And I've been pushing it to a lot of the people in the community that I'm close with, and I'm letting people look. Slumber is one of my favorite reads over the last few months, and I really want to let people know that. I want to let you guys know that. Pick it up. Pick this one up. This one's super fun, and I can guarantee you guys are going to enjoy this one right here. On to my third pick. Now, these are not in any particular order. I'm just kind of going down a list of comics that I'm looking forward to, except for number one. Number one's my number one pick. It's the one that I'm going to be going for no matter what. It's always going to be number one if it's coming out that week. So we'll get to that one in just a bit. And also, if you guys are finding this video entertaining, if you guys like what I'm sharing with you, make sure you give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so that way I can continue making these videos for everyone who's enjoying them. Let's go ahead and get back to number 3. I've already mentioned it, and I really like the premise of this book. I like where it's headed. What would you do? What would you do? And I like this book because of that. I play What Would You Do all the time with the kids, with Mimi. You know, what would you do if you won the lotto? Earlier today, Mimi and I were talking about, if we won the lotto, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, we're gonna, give kid this, we're gonna give grandchildren that, we're gonna make sure that, we're just coming up with so many crazy ideas. And that's what I like about 8 billion genies. It's just let the mind go. There's 8 billion wishes. And some of those wishes are just not coming true. Some of them just come true too hard. There's one wish where, hey, you know what? None other wishes can happen in here. Like it was really, really cool how they set it up from the very first issue. So going into what Charles Soule and what Ryan Brown have done with this book, it's really genius. It's something completely different. And I really look forward to reading these books right here because they're super fun. Now let me go ahead and tell you what issue 3 is about. We explore the first 8 days after 8 billion genies appeared on Earth, offering one wish each to every man, woman, and child. The wish-proof Lampwick Tavern has provided a safe haven for our 8 heroes so far. But now they must undertake a crucial mission into a world utterly remade by frivolous and bizarre wishes, with a special appearance from history's most famous drunkards. Dude, that sounds super fun. I don't know. Who are the drunkards? Who are these drunks that are gonna show? Is it Homer Simpson? Who's gonna show up? And that's what I like about it. This thing's got so many crazy twists and turns in it. A lot of what ifs. A lot of, if this happens, how does that happen? I really enjoy the feel of this book. I really enjoy the direction of this book. And Charles Soule is just the way he's writing this, it's super, super fun. I really can't wait to dig into what issue 3 is about. Amazon jumped the gun really fast with picking this book up before issue 2 even dropped, which is crazy in my head, but I guess they have a lot of faith. And honestly, Amazon has so far a pretty good track record on their comic book property. Invincible is fantastic. I can't wait for more. The Boys, they're doing an amazing job with The Boys. Then picking up 8 billion genies. I want to see what happens. This is another I don't know how it's going to happen. I really don't. I really look forward to seeing with my eyes what I'm reading about. We'll see what happens with this one right here. I'm looking forward to both the show, if it ever gets, remember, it's just option. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be made. It's just option. But let's continue on with the story and see how it could go, because a lot of the manga readers, they're like, oh, I already know what's going to happen in the anime because I read the manga. A lot of the comic book readers can probably do the same thing with something like 8 billion genies. Like, oh, I already know what's going to happen, or maybe not. Maybe there's going to be some twists and turns along the way that Charles Soule's like, you know what, if I could do something different, if I had one wish I could change things around, I'd probably do this. And that's probably what's going to happen with 8 Billion GD's, the Amazon show. So we'll see what happens. And it'll be nice split from both worlds, you comic book readers and the TV show watchers. Let's see what happens. On to my next pick. Now, this one right here was originally a podcast by the same name as the comic, which follows a vampire hunter, a young woman named Darcy, and she's lured into her bunker from beneath an ancient castle by a powerful vampire overlord and is thrusted into a fight for her people's future. This podcast sounds amazing. Like, I'm actually going to go and see if I can find it and download it and listen to it, because it sounds great. There's a lot of great storytelling on podcasts. I haven't had the time to go out and search, but I know there's a lot of great storytelling out there. And it seems like this is one of those shows that got picked up and people were like, hey, you know what? Let's go ahead and make this more visual. Let's turn this into a comic. Now, let me read a little bit about this one. This is called Impact Winter, written by Travis Beacham, arts from Stephen Green. This comic is actually the prequel to the podcast. Now, it's been 1 year since a comet hit Earth and blotted out the sun. Now the world is dark. It's cold. The landscape is ruled by vampires. In the British countryside, a band of survivors have formed a resistance in the fallout shelter of a medieval castle. Among them is Darcy, a young, headstrong fighter waiting for the chance to prove she can be on the front lines. But when that opportunity comes, Darcy will come face to face with the true horrors of this new world. This sounds really fun. This sounds exciting. High impact. Vampires are involved. There's a comet that went ahead and just knocked out all of the light that happens here on Earth. So I really can't wait to pick this one up at my LCS this coming New Comic Book Day on July 13, 2022. Now on to my number one pick, and anybody who knows me knows I'm a huge fan of this series right here. I've had the honor of being able to speak to the creators of this book. They are friends of the show, and hopefully I get to meet them one day, get a couple of books signed, submitted to CGC for my own personal collection. And if you guys know who it is, you know it's the Miranda Brothers. And if you know what book it is, yes, it is We Live, Age of the Palladians, number 4, written by both Inaki and Roy Miranda, art from the most amazing Inaki Miranda. This issue right here, let me just read a little bit about it because I'm more excited about it. I just don't want to fumble any words, and I'm fumbling words right now. There's no ground to stop the fall. Barbarism has broken all boundaries. Falling and fighting is all that's left for our heroes. The heart that bonds Tala and Hototo screams with desperation, refusing to accept the cruelty that is taking hold of their destiny. We got introduced to a new baddie in issue number 3, and they seem villainous. They seem super cruel. They're eating people. These cannibals are very much on a high pedestal of them. They're a religious faction. It is terrible what they're doing to these people. So now we're gonna see what impact that group of people have with the Palladians and their plan to try to save their megapolis. And it seems like it's not happening. It's not going in their direction. And we have to leave it up to the Palladians and Tala and their team to see what can happen. Love this world. I've loved this world since issue 1. I've loved this series since issue 1. And yes, maybe I'm saying this because I've interviewed the Mirandas, or yes, maybe because I've collected a lot of their books, or just point blank, just plain and simply, yes, I just love this world. And We Live has just been one of those books that I've gravitated to really tightly since I was first introduced to it. And I can't wait to see how far this expands. Because remember, it's not just about Hototo and his Palladians. There are other megapolises in this world. And we were still introduced to those 3 young kids in the free comic book day from 2021. So we still need to see how their story is going to unravel. There's a lot to unpack in this world, and there's so much potential, and I can't wait to see how Roy, Inaki, Ava Dela Cruz with her coloring can expand this world, and I'm looking forward to anything and everything that is We Live related, and crossing our fingers that this one also gets turned into a TV show. I know what I'm saying, you know, but I'd like to, this one right here I think does deserve it. But again, you know, it's just me saying that because I'm a huge fan, and I would love to see it as a TV show. Well, that's it, you guys. That's my top 5 picks for this upcoming New Comic Book Day on July 13, 2022. And let me know down in the comments below, what are your top 5 picks for this upcoming New Comic Book Day? I would love to know. I know there's a lot of DC and a lot of Marvel books I'm not picking up, but I'm already picking up a lot of indie books. My pull list is already pretty full, but hey, you know what? It's all about sharing with everyone in our community what we enjoy reading, and maybe we can influence each other by sharing. Hey, you know what, there's another book that I think that you would like. Hey, you know what, if you like this book, why don't you like that book? You know, or let me introduce you to this because it sounds like you like this kind of genre. I'm always down for listening to other people's opinions on comics. Maybe down the line I would be able to add those books, or just go back and read some of the trades, because there's so many fantastic adventures out there that I would love to be a part of, and I know you're a part of them, and I get jealous. I get jealous of a lot of the adventures that you guys go on, but you know what? I'm on my own adventures with my own books, and I'm thoroughly loving it right now, you guys, you know? Well, that's it for my top 5 New Comic Book Day picks. Thank you guys for coming by and hanging out. Until the next issue, deuces.